In every generation, men search for the edge that will separate them from mediocrity. They chase productivity hacks, financial strategies, fitness regimens, and motivational philosophies. Yet one of the oldest and most controversial disciplines remains quietly powerful: semen retention. At its core, semen retention is not merely about abstaining from release. It is about understanding the value of your life force and choosing to hold on to your precious seed. To hold on is not repression. It is not fear of sexuality. It is mastery. It is direction. It is choosing long-term strength over short-term pleasure. Your seed is not ordinary. Biologically, it carries the blueprint for life. Symbolically, it represents creative power, vitality, and potential. Spiritually, many traditions have regarded it as sacred energy. When a man understands this, his relationship with himself changes. He stops treating his body like a playground for impulses and starts treating it like a temple of power. We live in an age of constant stimulation. Screens glow late into the night. Temptation is a click away. Desire is manufactured, packaged, and sold at industrial scale. Many men unknowingly surrender their energy daily, numbing themselves with fleeting pleasure. The problem is not sexuality itself. Sexuality is natural and powerful. The problem is unconscious indulgence. When release becomes habitual, when desire controls rather than serves, a subtle drain begins. Motivation weakens. Discipline erodes. Focus scatters. Holding on to your precious seed is an act of rebellion against this culture of constant consumption. It says, I will not be ruled by impulse. I will choose strength. Think of your vitality as currency. You can spend it recklessly, or you can invest it wisely. Every act of indulgence costs something, sometimes small, sometimes significant. When you practice retention, you redirect that energy inward and upward. Men who commit to this path often report increased focus, heightened confidence, deeper presence, and stronger willpower. Whether psychological, physiological, or spiritual, the shift feels real. Why? Because discipline in one area spills into others. When you can master your strongest impulse, other challenges seem smaller. Waking early becomes easier. Working out becomes natural. Saying no to distractions becomes automatic. Retention strengthens the muscle of restraint. And restraint is power. The ability to delay gratification has always separated leaders from followers. Great achievements demand sustained effort over time. A man who cannot delay pleasure struggles to build anything lasting. Holding on to your seed trains you in delayed gratification at the deepest level. It forces you to sit with desire instead of obeying it. It demands that you endure discomfort. It teaches you to channel intensity rather than discharge it. Desire does not disappear when you retain. It intensifies. But instead of escaping it, you learn to transmute it. You pour that energy into work, creativity, physical training, business, prayer, study, or service. Desire becomes fuel. Beyond the physical dimension, retention transforms the mind. When you stop seeking constant release, your thoughts sharpen. Brain fog lifts. You become more present in conversations. Your eyes hold steadier contact. Your posture improves. Why? Because self-respect deepens. A man who keeps promises to himself walks differently. Retention is a promise. I will not waste what is valuable. Each day you keep that promise, your inner voice grows stronger. Doubt weakens. Shame fades. You begin to trust yourself. This trust radiates outward. Others sense it. You do not need to announce your discipline. It shows in how you carry yourself. Interestingly, many men notice changes in how others respond to them. It is not mystical magnetism in a theatrical sense. It is grounded presence. When you are not chasing, you become calm. When you are not desperate for validation, you appear secure. Women, colleagues, friends, people in general, tend to respond positively to grounded energy. Retention often cultivates this steadiness. Instead of seeking to extract pleasure, you offer presence. Holding on to your precious seed shifts your mindset from consumption to contribution. Across cultures, spiritual traditions have emphasized conserving life force. Monks, warriors, sages, many practice some form of restraint to sharpen their awareness. The idea was simple. Sexual energy is creative energy. When directed inward, it refines the soul. Whether one views this spiritually or psychologically, the principle remains powerful. Retention forces introspection. It exposes hidden habits. It reveals emotional triggers. Without constant release as an escape, you must confront yourself. You may feel restlessness, irritability, surges of desire. These are not signs of failure. They are signs of awakening. Energy once dissipated now accumulates. The challenge is to guide it constructively. Prayer, meditation, journaling, physical training, and purposeful work become essential tools. Retention without redirection leads to frustration. Retention with direction leads to growth. Character is built in private. No one applauds you for resisting temptation at midnight. No one sees the internal battle you win. But every victory shapes you. Holding on to your precious seed is a silent forge. Each moment of restraint strengthens your will. Each day of discipline layers confidence into your foundation. Over time, this compounds. You begin to identify as a disciplined man. An identity drives behavior. When discipline becomes part of who you are, it extends beyond sexuality into finances, health, relationships, and leadership. You stop negotiating with weakness. Critics argue that retention is repression, but repression is denial without understanding. Retention, when practiced consciously, is mastery through awareness. You do not pretend desire doesn't exist. You acknowledge it. You feel it fully, but you choose not to act on every impulse. This is emotional maturity. A man ruled by impulse is fragile. A man who can feel desire without being controlled by it is formidable. Retention is not about hating your sexuality. It is about respecting it. Many practitioners claim increased stamina, clearer skin, stronger workouts, and improved overall vitality. While scientific debates continue about exact mechanisms, the subjective experience is consistent. Men often feel more alive. Part of this may be psychological. Part may be hormonal stabilization. Part may simply be the side effects of improved habits that accompany retention. Better sleep, less late-night stimulation, more exercise. Regardless of the cause, the result is empowerment. When you feel stronger physically, you act stronger mentally. Holding on to your precious seed can become a cornerstone habit, one that triggers a cascade of healthier choices. In a world that trivializes everything, treating something as sacred transforms your life. Sacred does not mean shameful. It means valuable. When you guard what is sacred, you elevate your standards. You no longer allow casual habits to control powerful forces within you. Your seed represents potential life. But even beyond biology, it symbolizes your creative essence. When you waste it carelessly, you subtly communicate to yourself that your power is cheap. When you protect it, you declare that your power is precious. This shift in self-perception changes everything. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and share the video. Join the Retain to Thrive Telegram channel at the link below. Retention is not passive. It is active transformation. The energy that builds up must move somewhere. If left stagnant, it creates tension. But when directed, it becomes brilliance. Channel it into building a business, writing a book, learning a new skill, strengthening your body, deepening your faith, serving your community. Sexual energy is intense. It is life force. When you hold on to your precious seed, you gather that intensity. When you aim it, you become unstoppable. History is filled with men who channeled passion into achievement. Retention simply makes that process deliberate. One overlooked benefit of retention is emotional regulation. Without constant release as a coping mechanism, emotions surface more clearly. You may feel anger, sadness, or anxiety more intensely at first. This is not regression. It is awareness. Now you must learn to process emotions constructively. Exercise becomes therapy. Prayer becomes grounding. Conversations become honest. Over time, you develop resilience. You're no longer escaping discomfort. You are confronting it. And that builds unshakable strength. Holding on to your precious seed also reshapes how you view relationships. You begin to value connection over conquest. You seek depth over novelty. When sexual energy is not casually dispersed, intimacy becomes meaningful. You are less likely to objectify and more likely to appreciate. Retention cultivates patience. You are willing to build trust. You are willing to invest emotionally. This elevates the quality of your relationships. You stop chasing momentary highs and start building lasting bonds. There will be moments of intense temptation. Weekdays, stressful periods, nights when discipline feels exhausting. These moments define the journey. Every time you resist, you strengthen neural pathways of self-control. Every time you fall, you learn. The key is not perfection, but persistence. Holding on to your precious seed is not about rigid streak counting. It is about developing mastery over time. If you stumble, rise again. Each recommitment reinforces identity. Retention ultimately sets a higher standard for your life. You begin to ask, what else am I tolerating that drains me? Where else am I undisciplined? What habits are stealing my potential? You raise your standards in diet, conversation, entertainment, and ambition. Because once you experience the clarity of disciplined living, mediocrity feels heavy. You realize that greatness requires sacrifice, and sacrifice becomes meaningful when tied to purpose. Retention without purpose is fragile. You must know why you're holding on. Is it to build strength? To grow spiritually? To sharpen focus? To become a better husband or leader? Define your reason. When temptation arises, purpose steadies you. It reminds you that you are building something larger than a fleeting sensation. Holding on to your precious seed becomes part of a larger vision of who you are becoming. In the short term, indulgence feels easier. In the long term, discipline pays dividends. Retention compounds. The confidence builds slowly. The focus sharpens gradually. The transformation is subtle but profound. Months of discipline can reshape a man's trajectory. He becomes more driven, more grounded, more resilient. He realizes that power was never outside him. It was within him, waiting to be conserved and directed. Semen retention is not a magic formula. It is not a shortcut to success. It is a discipline, a powerful one, that strengthens the foundation of a man's life. To hold on to your precious seed is to value your life force. It is to choose mastery over impulse. It is to transform desire into fuel, temptation into training, energy into excellence. In a culture that glorifies instant gratification, restraint is revolutionary. In a world that drains men daily, conservation is strength. Your seed is precious, not because of superstition, but because of what it represents: creative power, vitality, and potential. Guard it, direct it, honor it, and watch what happens when you stop leaking energy and start building legacy.